What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 safeties at release in Madden 19 based upon the official ratings. Now we're going to go through this list. We're going to find some hot takes, some not some hot takes, some great ratings, some bad ratings, and everything in between. And it's just an honest criticism. So I want to hear you guys' feedback in the comments, and let's jump into it. So starting out at number 10, we have a three-way tie. But just because I wanted to make the list nice and 10 actual guys, I just have like a split, and then number 9's also tied with a 90. All three of these guys have 90s. So starting at 10, Cam Chancellor, who may or may not play, and LaMarcus Joyner of the Rams both have a 90 overall. I think, when healthy, Cam Chancellor, yes, he's definitely a 90. I think LaMarcus Joyner showed last season his flexibility, meaning he's a converted corner that dropped back into safety. Very well versed, very well balanced. 90, I don't think, is too outrageous for him. Going to number 9, another 90, but his stats are so godly, I just had to make him his own separate spot on the list. Adrian Amos of the Chicago Bears with a 90 overall. Now, this is a guy, 2 years ago, everyone wanted the Bears to draft a safety, and I said, whoa, 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 you got Adrian Amos. You know, you don't need a free safety. They want Jamal Adams, that's what it was. They want Jamal Adams. I said, no, stick with Amos. Now he's debatably the best player point blank period. I said, yes, I saw him at Penn State. This guy's really good. Look at his stats: 93 speed, 88 zone, 88 pursuit. He can get the job done. Grades out well, Pro Football Focus. Looks good in pads, passes the eye test. So Adrian Amos, very, very overpowered safety, especially if you're one of ththose freaks out there that likes to use her as safety when you play defense. Go to number 8. It's going to be Rashad Jones of the Miami Dolphins with a 91 overall. 88 zone, 90 hit power, 89 pursuit. One of the most underrated safeties in football. I'm going to be very interested to see how they decide to use Rashad Jones with new rookie Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think both those guys can make one hell of a tandem. But Rashad Jones has been doing things for quite some time, and I'd like to see him get this rating. I think it is the highest rating for anyone on the Miami Dolphins. I definitely think that he deserves it. Go to number 7. Slightly overrated, maybe, but based upon the season he had last year, I mean, it's kind of tough to argue because the stats were insane. We have Micah Hyde of the Buffalo Bills with a 92 overall. His two highlighting stats are 93 zone coverage and 89 man. He has good, just good athletic ability, good tackling ability. Brings a little bit on special teams as a return man. But yeah, Micah Hyde is constantly my reference to, like, where do these ratings come from? Because some of they don't make sense. They're inconsistent. Some of them are like guys that had big years last year only get outrageous ratings. Some are guys clearly that didn't have a good year last year, be it a down year, be it an injury. They withhold their really, really high ratings, so you assume there's reputation involved. But there's no reputation for Micah Hyde. If Micah Hyde's reputation is a big year, you give him probably 85 or something like that as a starting point. You'd be a little bit cautious. But you jump right up to a 92, and then I see guys that have really big years last year that don't have a rating that represents that. Kind of a head scratcher. But I'm a big fan of Sean McDermott. He's the last disciple in Philadelphia here of the Jim Johnson defense, so I wish him well up there in Buffalo. And he is sure as hell getting the most out of Micah Hyde. Go number 6 is going to be Devin McCourty of the New England Patriots with a 92 overall as well. 90 speed, 87 zone, and 87 pursuit. For the longest time, Devin McCourty was like one of the cheesiest safeties ever because he had pretty much all corner stats because he's a converted corner that they moved to safety. And he was always almost my go-to guy when I would play Ultimate Team. When I rarely would play Ultimate Team because his coverage stats were so good. I want my safeties, especially my free safeties, to cover. Devin McCourty had a strong season last year. Of a inconsistent, I think you could say, New England Patriots secondary. You had inconsistent play from Malcolm Butler. Gilmore, inconsistent play. Chung has been all right, which doesn't make sense to me as an Eagle fan. But the one consistent was Devin McCourty's high level of play. So I'm getting a 92, maybe a little high. Maybe it could have just been like a 90, 91, but 92, you can't really argue that too much. Go to number 5 is going to be Tyrann Mathieu, now of the Houston Texans with a 93 overall. He had 90 speed, 91 zone, 89 man. Now, this is a player that I'm a big fan of. I love seeing him get a 93. I think when he's on his day and he's healthy and he's consistent, that 93 is very much warranted. But this is kind of like, look at his rating last year when Madden ended to where it is now. Like, is this just a bump because he's an exciting free agency signing going to a bigger market? Hypothetically, a bigger team, a more popular team, I guess would be the best way to say it. Because he was like an 83. I think he was an 83 when the game ended last year. Because he was struggling a little bit with the Arizona Cardinals. There's a reason why he didn't, re-sign with them. And then he went to the Texans, and he's up to a 93 yet again. I think that's a little suspicious, to be honest with you. But ultimately, as a fan of Honey Badger, I like it. I like that he gets that rating. But as a fan of Madden and wanting to play this game, and for some reason, for whatever reason, I always struggle against the Texans. Giving them another generous 90-plus freak on the defensive side of the ball is always a little worrisome. Going to number 4 is going to be Malcolm Jenkins of the Philadelphia Eagles with a 94 overall. Malcolm Jenkins, 91 zone, 90 man, 87 press. Obviously a converted corner, so he has really good coverage stats. His tackling abilities average. But again, this is a very surprising rating for me. I talked about it in my bullshit ratings video because ultimately I need to critique the Eagles a little bit. He is the highest overall player on the Philadelphia Eagles, and I do not think that's the case. I think he had his worst year with the Philadelphia Eagles last year. Wasn't a bad year by any means, but definitely wasn't as strong as the years he's had past. But even with understanding that he did a lot of jobs, he had to wear a lot of hats. He played safety, he played linebacker, he played corner for us last season. Just still, he looked a little bit slower. He gave up way more plays than he did in years past. I just think 94, like, you could be generous and give him a 90 because of how well he played during the playoffs. But I think at 94, being the best and highest rated player on the best roster in the game does not make sense with me. But I'll still take it. Going to number 3 is going to be Earl Thomas of the Seattle Seahawks with a 95. Just stand there alone there in the Legion of Boom. It's just Earl Thomas. 90 speed, 94 zone, 87 hit power. And we don't even know if he's going to remain in the team. There's still murmurs about the trade to Dallas or him moving out of Seattle. I don't think that will be the case because I don't think they want an all-out rebuild, even though it's kind of looking like that. But Earl Thomas is as good of a free safety as anyone else in the league, and I think at 95, you're not going to find too many people that'll argue with that rating. I think he was All-Pro as well, first-team All-Pro. Going to number 2, it's going to be Eric Berry of the Kansas City Chiefs with a 96 overall. He has 90 speed, 95 zone, 91 man. Eric Berry is as good of a safety as I've seen come out of college, and he's been even better in the pros. And, of course, he's coming off an injury, an unfortunate injury. But we've shown, you know, with Aaron Rodgers' injury, we saw that with the J.J. Watt injury. Injuries aren't really affecting ratings this year. And it's always a touchy subject because I could say maybe, even though it feels like Carson Wentz's injury is affecting him, his rating, an 86, which is laughable. I do feel like really elite, proven players that have multiple seasons of success, their ratings shouldn't drastically change because of injury, because you know when they're healthy, they're that big of an impact playmaker. And Eric Berry is no exception to that rule. Eric Berry is as good as any safety in football, can do it all. He's as complete of a safety as there is in the NFL. And on his day, you know, he's the number 1 guy is 1 point better. On his day, Eric Berry, I think, is the best safety in the National Football League. But not the number 1 player in Madden at the safety spot. That goes to Harrison Smith of the Minnesota Vikings at 1 with a 97 overall. 92 zone coverage, 92 hit power, 93 pursuit are his highlights. He pretty much broke the Pro Football Focus rating system, which we know heavily influences what ratings we see here today, even though it has been inconsistent a little bit this year. But Harrison Smith, you know, he broke the. I know you trust Pro Football Focus for me anyway. When I look at it for spots that are tough and difficult to assess with an eye test, so offensive linemen, you talk about corners, you talk about secondary players, and occasionally you can look at linebackers. Those are the tough positions that can't really pass the eye test. And you know, you want someone that you trust someone to go through like the all 22 footage and trust that they're making the best decision. And when they say that Harrison Smith broke their system, you need to trust them. And the eye test is the Minnesota Vikings defense was outstanding. The secondary was outstanding, and a big reason why everything works on that defense is Harrison Smith. Plus, you know, he had the turnovers. He had really good production last year. So him being the top safety in the game, I think, is very much warranted. And hell, I even made the case for him to be one of the 99 member clubs. And then people are like, no, it's got to be Von. You know, I think that's what I said at the end. I was like, nah, they're probably going to give it to Von Miller because he has swag. And look what they did. They gave it to Von Miller because he has a swag. So that is the official top 10 safeties. Now here are a couple honorable mentions. Kevin Barrett got an 89 overall. That's kind of surprising, even because he was 8 picks, first team All-Pro. That you see guys like Cam Chancellor, LaMarcus Joyner, Adrian Amos, Micah Hyde, especially get it over him. Keanu O'Neal got an 89. Landon Collins got an 88. Andre Howell of the Houston Texans. I think he's actually battling cancer right now, so you know, full support going his way. He got an 87, which a lot of people said is pretty ridiculous. We got Eric Weddle got an 86. Jordan Poyer of the Bills got an 88. Again, you know, adding fuel to the fire of these one-year wonders, getting exceptional ratings for certain teams, for certain positions, and not elsewhere. Inconsistent ratings this year in Madden 19. But there you go. Those are the top 10 safeties and some honorable mentions. If you agree or disagree with any of the ratings or anything I said, let me know in the comment section below. I'm going to have a couple more breakdowns coming for you guys in the next couple weeks while we get ready for Madden season. I'm planning on doing the sleepers from each individual position, so running backs, quarterbacks, all those positions. I think I'm going to do a top 5 sleepers so that you guys might get the low-key edge in some of your online drafts to look for guys that are in the, in the 70s, some rookies that might have slipped under the radar that are going to be very good. We'll talk about probably overpowered players at some point too. But yeah, this is not the end of the ratings content. If there's any other ratings or stuff like that you want to see, let me know in the comment section below. But thank you guys for watching today. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Stick along for Madden 19 season. It's going to be unreal. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.